discuss this book, we invite the critic, Mr. Giriraj Kiradu. He has published poems, criticism, translations, and many short stories. Some of them have been translated into Urdu, Marathi, Catalan, and English. Mr. Kiradu was conferred upon the prestigious Bharat Bhushan Agrawal Smriti Award for his first publication poem in the year 2000. He is a translator in Hindi, English, and Rajasthani. He was an associate editor with Rajasthan Sahitya Academy for a brief period. Mr. Kiradu has also organized some memorable literary events as creative head and is the founder of Udharan, an alternative publisher and independent forum. Besides teaching English at the university, he is an editor with Sihai. We invite Mr. Kiradu to talk about his view on this book.
5 years, the magazine and the publishing house has kind of become my alter identity also. Well, but before we begin anything, I'm reminded of a very profound couplet by somebody who lived here in Punjab, Professor Puran Singh. He used to say that मैं पढ़ पढ़ लाया ढेर कुड़े मेरा वजदा जाए हनेर कुड़े. मैंने पढ़ पढ़ के ढेर लगा दिया है, लेकिन जितना मैं पढ़ा हूँ उतना ही मेरा अंधेरा बढ़ता गया है. If I was allowed to make this a disclaimer for the festival and all such events that we do, we the urban intellectuals, that should be the disclaimer. We piled up readings after readings, readings after readings, but there is also some darkness that we have piled around that. But I have to talk about this wonderful book, this side, that side, which is, as you've seen, about partition in a way, and about many other things. So partition for most of us is something that belongs to the archives of history, something that happened and is no more in our lives, a thing of past, something that we have rationalized in strange yet familiar ways. Perhaps the strongest reference in our daily lives, in our daily national life, in our popular and dominant memory of the event, in our collective subconscious, is this endlessly recurring inquiry: who is to be blamed for Pakistan? Who is to be blamed for partition? We all have our favorites for this, but the very notion that it is something to be blamed for says that somewhere we have not lost its tragic connotations. That in spite of the alarming success of a homegrown version of the majoritarian fascism that celebrates the event as a half victory and is violently committed to reconfigure India in the image of its partitioned other half, the majoritarian fascism and its partition narrative, driven by ethnic hatred and based on the Firangi ideology of 19th century nationalism, is our second strongest connection perhaps with the event. The third connection, perhaps the most lasting connection, is corpses, dead bodies. Disturbing narratives of violence and some of the most bewildering pathologies of self. The survivors of partition were not just victims. Remember it, they were also killers. The partition survivors were also killers, many of whom had successful careers in the newborn nation states. The stories of killers, of perpetrators, are still largely unheard, except perhaps the study by Ashish Nandi and others. Partition stories have mostly been told by people from Punjab and Bengal, two provinces which were partitioned. As research has shown, maximum violence also happened there, in places where communities had a more intimately shared life. This also brings us to the second and, at least in India, the forgotten partition, that of Pakistan. The book is not just about 47, it is also about 71. And it is also about the ignored, less talked about partitions within ourselves. If I could speak in sweeping but very profound sounding sentences, like partition was a script of which we all are collaborative authors, or like it was an act co-scripted by the schizophrenic self that we call India. Ah, that elusive grand narrative called India. That dream that lost dream called India. That we have not just one India, but there are three Indias, and rather three nation states. It's not possible to cling on to the imaginary father figure anymore. There is another dream, perhaps another lost dream of a promised land also. Pakistan and Bangladesh were promised lands. In a way, the partition was also a partition between a promised land and the homeland. Rahim Masoom Raza's Adha Gaon is a very moving narrative of people who decided to choose homeland, their Bengali, which was neither India nor Pakistan, but Bengali only. They decided to choose it over the promised land, which is why I called India an elusive grand narrative. If Pakistan was a promised land of freedom and hijrat, India was also promised to be a land of freedom and secularism. Partition has lived through the lives of many generations of the Indian Muslim and the Bangladeshi Hindus. But stop. I said, I'll try to speak in profound looking sentences. And that's where the book stops me and says, stop, stop, stop. The book warns me. If 10 lakh people were killed, there are 10 million stories. And no human story is a replica of the other. In art and literature, we too easily complain of repetition and constantly make a very unjust and terrifying demand of something new, fresh, original. I find it rather scary because we have heard a similar tale of suffering or joy, which also was better told. Your story doesn't matter. I just find it scary when you tell somebody, because we have heard similar kind of story better told, your story doesn't matter to us. I find it really, really scary. I'm reminded of Ghalib, and I'm reminded of him so many times with this line, रोएंगे हम हजार बार, कोई हमें सताए क्यों. If suffering keeps repeating itself, the tales of suffering will also keep repeating themselves. These narratives by the second and third generations of the post-partition population are largely free of the historical burden of the event. They don't speak in a language of pathos necessarily, but they don't miss the tragedy. The sign of loss hovers over their carefree, critical, and distant tales. In fact, it was rather appropriate that this session began with this trailer, because in a way this trailer was 5 minutes of partition poetry also. Poetry, the inevitable thing in everything. I chose this book also because I'm not just a critic here, but also a book ambassador. So I chose this book because it doesn't carry the authority of one single author. It's a book by 46 people and curated by one more. So there are 47 selves involved here. The cult of author is perhaps a very old thing, but the careful and laborious cult of a great person, the modern author, who sees the world like no one does, and who needs to be respected like a prophet. Throughout the 50s, 60s, and 70s of the last century, the universities all over the world were passionately lost in the grand orgy of penetrating the mind of this great man called modern author. And the publishing industry, the agents, the media created a new cult of the author. I'm tired of that. I chose this book because this is not just about one single person posing as if he's an kind of Masiha. I'm tired of the marketing-driven cults, and I'm tired of people posing as oracles and people seeking oracles. The book has 46 contributors, and each of the 26 stories have been created by word artists and a visual artist. I'm sure some of the great modern writers would have fainted on the stage or frowned away if they were introduced only as word artists, not as authors. The individuality, however, is not lost in a book like this. It's complemented and enriched by constant sharing and criticism of each other. The future books perhaps will more frequently be written, or rather put together, curated like this, not just by one person, but by many. So now I just would say that we wait for the dramatized readings and then follow up with a conversation with Viswajyoti. Thank you so much.
Our special thanks to Chandigarh-based group Theatre for Theatre for organizing and sponsoring this performance. We invite them to enact the passage from the book This Side, That Side, Restoring Partition.
January 2010. Like every partitioned family that had left a bit of life elsewhere, Shabnam and I were in Ali Mohalla, Punjab, India, hoping to find our father's home. One of our dear friends, Kuldeep Oberoi, helped us around. We went on asking about the old butcher shop, and no one seemed to remember. He led us from one person to another until we ended up in one Russian Sikh's home. Salam. Salam. Raji, do you have any idea about that old butcher shop? Butcher shop? Yes, yes. No. No? How long you have been living here? After partition. You might not be able to come. Yes. Let's have tea. No, it's okay. It's okay now. Okay. Salam. No, he was not able to help us. But he kindly faced, short-statured Darshan Singh, with his bright eyes and merry smile, wanted us to stay for tea. But we were in a bit hurry to look for the old family house. And while walking across the Railway Bazaar, Kuldeep came to me, said that someone wanted to speak with me. And it was, Oji, Sashika, remember me? Yes, I do. Darshan Singh. Yes. Darshan Singh. You're from Lahore, ji? Yes, I'm from Lahore. I have also been to Lahore. I once went to a zoo with my father and brothers. By now, I had encountered many such sentiments in India. But the happiness in his eyes and the emotion with which he had delivered that simple sentence stayed with me. And after learning that the house we were looking for had been pulled down a few years ago, Shabnam and I decided to return back to Darshan Singh's home. Come. Sit. I will get you some tea now. No, it's okay, Raju. I will get you some tea. Wait here. If ever I have brought real happiness to someone, it was Darshan Singh. He did not tire telling this to his family that he had returned back just to talk to him. Darshan Singh. He was 8 years old at the time of partition. He was born at village Klaswala near Pasoor, where his family was comfortably well off. His father ran a thriving restaurant at Rawalpindi's Gwalmandi, and family used to live in a rented house near the restaurant. In 1944, Darshan Singh joined the Standard High School. Walking back and forth from school to home and running across the streets. And that people tree under which he and his mates used to play marbles. नहीं गलत खेल रहा तू नहीं पर और बिगड़ा है मैं छटना लेना रोंडी कहीं का